Hey everyone, this is C Crypto Daily Buzz. Today is March the 2nd, 2026. This channel summarizes the most important crypto news for investors in Southeast Asia, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, and OFW communities using crypto and remittance every day. Let's go through 3 key stories you should know in today's crypto market. First, Bitcoin price and sentiment in this extended downtrend. Bitcoin is fluctuating around $66,000, while the Crypto Fear and Greed Index has dropped to 10, signaling extreme fear for more than a month. Over the last 24 hours, BTC briefly traded above $68,000 before slipping back below $66,000, with intraday swings of over $2,000 on major exchanges. Data provider Alternative says its Fear and Greed Index fell by 4 points to 10 today and has remained in the extreme fear zone since late January, reflecting volatility, low volumes, and negative headlines about Iran and a possible U.S. recession. For investors in Southeast Asia, including traders in the Philippines and Vietnam, this mix of relatively stable price levels and very depressed sentiment often appears in late stages of a bearish phase, but it does not guarantee a bottom. I see it as a reminder that emotional overshooting can create opportunities over time, yet trying to perfectly time every wick with leverage is still very risky. Second, what retail surveys are telling us about investor psychology. Bitcoin is on track for a 5th straight monthly decline, yet a survey of Korean retail traders shows that over 60% still believe the market is not dead, and that deep pain is a buying opportunity. According to a weekly poll of domestic investors, about 64% expect further downside or sharp drops next week. Only 10% see a strong rebound, and more than 61% describe the current mood as fear or extreme fear. At the same time, roughly 61% of respondents said they do not think crypto is over. They believe the market survives and that when the real crying starts, it will be a buying chance, while around 23% say it is over and 16% are unsure. My view for Southeast Asia investors is that this combination, long price weakness plus lingering belief in a comeback, is a classic late-cycle pattern. For Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia traders, it means crowd sentiment is already very negative, but we still have to respect the possibility of more drawn-out chop before any clear recovery. So position sizing and cash management matter more than heroic calls. Third, a quick reminder from the Philippines about where regulated crypto activity is heading in Southeast Asia. Recent updates from Philippine regulators and industry show that licensed exchanges and stablecoin-based remittance and payment rails remain the core focus of the local ecosystem. The latest list of authorized virtual asset providers from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and SEC includes platforms such as Coins.h, PDX, and several others that focus on compliant trading, remittance, and business payments for Filipinos and OFWs. At the same time, projects like Open Stable Network's fiat-to-stablecoin corridor for Philippine trade and partnerships between Coins.ph, Remitly, and BC Remit are steadily turning USDT and other stablecoins into everyday infrastructure for cross-border payments. For investors and builders in Southeast Asia, this tells us that regulators in the Philippines are drawing a clearer line. Unlicensed offshore platforms are being squeezed out, while banks, e-wallets, and regulated exchanges are being encouraged to connect via stablecoin rails. If you are in the Philippines or sending remittances from abroad, it makes sense to prioritize channels that sit inside this regulated framework, even if they sometimes feel slower or stricter. To sum up today's stories, Bitcoin is oscillating around $66,000, while the Fear and Greed Index sits at 10, signaling extreme fear. The market is facing a potential 5th straight monthly decline, even as more than 60% of surveyed Korean retail traders still see deep pain as a buying opportunity. And in the Philippines, licensed exchanges and stablecoin-based remittance rails remain the backbone of the regulated crypto ecosystem in Southeast Asia. This video is for information and education only and is not financial advice. All investment decisions and risks are your own responsibility. If this video was helpful, please consider subscribing, liking, and turning on the notification bell. Thanks for watching C Crypto Daily Buzz, and I'll see you in the next episode.